Erik Horne here with Brett Dawson after the Thunder's first preseason loss, 104-97 to the Houston Rockets here in Tulsa at the BOK Center. And it was our first glimpse at Carmelo Anthony and Paul George. Brett, initial thoughts?
Well, you know, your initial thought is it's hard to take away a whole lot in a game that Russell Westbrook didn't play because you don't know exactly what this is going to look like when he's out there. But Carmelo Anthony started off great, scored the first 10 points of the game, looked really comfortable, got into a good groove. He talked after the game about kind of finding that joy again in basketball. Paul George, a little bit of a rough start. He actually said, I asked him, you know, he's only ever played in one uniform in the NBA, and he said he did have some jitters. Kind of felt like being a rookie, and he wasn't super comfortable. He settled in a little bit. Those two guys are fine. What we don't know about the Thunder is kind of how the rest of these pieces are all going to work and how it's all going to fit when Westbrook is back.
It was some interesting rotation wrinkles tonight from Billy Donovan. And again, you don't know what's going to stick because Westbrook's not here. That's going to change a lot of things. But, you know, you start with Raymond Felton, who was a little sloppy to start off. Paul George wasn't his normal dominant self in terms of his offense early in the game. But the carryover didn't seem to hurt Paul George on the defensive side. He came out and he looked really good defensively. And Billy Donovan talked about how George's game is based off of that that defensive stand that he likes to make. Not stand, but the defensive strength that he has on the wing.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. They started him out with James Harden, and I think Andre Robertson and Chris Paul to start the game. Steven Adams also looked really good defensively, I thought, especially early in the game. You know, this is a team that's very different offensively. Again, we especially don't know offensively what it's going to be like when Westbrook is back. Defensively, this was a really good defensive team, and they should be equally good, I think, just very different. It is good to see you know, Paul George kind of already settled in on that side. I think it's going to take a little longer offensively.
Now, the defense as a whole is another question because these guys gave up 55 three-pointers tonight, Brett. Billy Donovan's a guy who likes to stress.
Optimism, by the way. Billy Donovan said we did a great job defending the paint.
Yeah.
That is a glass half full, Billy.
That is a glass half full indeed. You know, Chris Paul and James Harden, if you already didn't know, are going to be an excellent combination this year. They were expert at picking guys out from the three-point line, particularly that guy that was trailing in transition. You saw Eric Gordon have that a couple of times. Ryan Anderson was getting some clean looks, throwing that behind-the-back bounce pass to a guy in transition. It's going to be a deadly combination. And the Thunder really didn't have much of an answer for it for a large part of the game.
Yep, I mean, and some of that, I think some of that is communication defensively among a group of guys that has some, you know, a lot of new pieces. Some of that is, look, you thought these guys got good looks when James Harden was running the show. Now you got Harden and Paul. And Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson are going to have a good life. That's going to be a really good situation. 55 threes is a ton to shoot. 24 is a ton to make. And, you know, Billy Donovan said there were some rotation things. They got a lot they can look at. But, yeah, Houston is going to do this to some people.
Another, I guess, thing that factored into the Rockets getting as many three-point looks as they had is that, you know, the Thunder was being very lenient with their rotations in terms of letting guys play a little bit longer than they normally do. I mean, first preseason game, you'd expect that, but particularly some of the younger guys. The Thunder had 3 rookies on the court at times. You know, Daniel Hamilton started the second half. The Thunder's two-way player, who's going to be playing primarily for the Oklahoma City Blue this year in the G League. He started the second quarter at point guard for Raymond Felton. Billy Donovan was trying some different things, and he wanted to see these guys pressed into action. You know, I think Terrence Ferguson was among that first substitution group with Jeremy Grant in the first quarter. So these young guys, these rookies, were really pressed into action early, whereas Mike D'Antoni opted to kind of, you know, let James Harden and Chris Paul stick together for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and this is what both guys promised, right? This is what D'Antoni said he was going to do before the game. He wanted to treat this more like a mid-preseason game. He wanted to let those guys get into a little bit of rhythm. Billy Donovan sort of said, we're not going to worry about rotations while we have 3 rotation guys out. In addition to Westbrook, we haven't said Patrick Patterson, Alex Abrinas. Those guys didn't play. Really hard for the Thunder to replicate what they're going to do. And so I think what you saw is, again, you saw an extended look at Terrence Ferguson that maybe won't be a thing that's going to happen later in preseason. We saw a lot of Isaiah Cannon and didn't see any of Samaje Christian. That might be because they kind of have a sense of what they have with Samaje. You want to get an extended, very long look at Isaiah Cannon, which they did do. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot you can read into this. He was really trying to get, I think, a look at some pieces. He wanted to get sort of a sense of who some of his mystery guys were, some guys that he wants to get a little bit of a feel for. And then they just weren't going to play. Carmelo Anthony didn't play the second half. Paul George was going to play very limited minutes. That's just the way it was going to be, and they made that clear going in.
Thunder off tomorrow on Wednesday, and then they'll get back to practice on Thursday before the home game, the Chesapeake Energy Arena debut against the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday night. Here's some post-game video from Billy Donovan. We have some Carmelo Anthony, some Steven Adams, and some Paul George, right? Paul George. Plenty of video, tons of video.
What did you think about, the way that you were able to come out and get started offensively tonight, considering it was your first game with the Thunder?
Yeah, I'm at the end of the day, it was just, me just playing basketball and, trying to figure things out and trying to figure out kind of this new situation and get a feel, get a rhythm. The excitement of being in with this team, new situation, the upside to this team that we have, and I think I was just a little bit excited and ready to get it going after putting so much work in this off season and first couple of days of training camp, and just really wanting to play against somebody else.
What did you think about the way the ball moved for you all tonight? I know it's your first game, and you don't have Russell in there. There was one play where you went to penetrate and you had an open lane, but you kicked out to Paul instead of. Did you feel comfortable about the way the ball moved?
Yeah, we felt comfortable. I think sometimes we was like overthinking it a little bit, trying to kind of be too unselfish out there. I know there was one time I had on the wing, and I think I had a wide open shot, and I gave it to Paul, and he shot it like 3 seconds ago, and I know how that feels, so I felt bad about that. But those are the things that we'll get better at, in knowing each other's game, knowing guys that on the court, getting more comfortable, getting more used to guys out there.
Russell obviously is going to be a massive part of your guys' offense, and he's not out there tonight. So what's the kind of stuff that you can still learn about each other, whether it's schematically or on like a chemistry?
Yeah, I think right now it's just a matter of working on the things that we worked on in training camp. Getting that rhythm, running our offense, executing our offense, regardless of who's in there. First unit, second unit, a mixture of guys that was playing out there today. It's just a matter of, working and, working through what we put in training camp the first couple of days and, just trying to perfect that until we're able to move on to the next thing.
Not necessarily about the game, but Lance Thomas wrote that piece about you, and you mentioned that you reached out to him. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are.
I talk to Lance every day. He's one of my best friends on it, not just in basketball, but in life in general. So when I read it, I usually don't read stuff like that. But when I read it, he texted me and told me I should read it. But it was good. He's a guy who knows me as a person more than a basketball player. So he was coming from more personal perspective, a friendship perspective, from a man perspective, outside of the basketball realm of things.
I know you've only been here a few weeks, but is there anything about Oklahoma City that stands out or is unique to this team, this franchise, and this organization?
Well, just the unknown. For me, that's what excites me. Knowing what we could possibly be in due time, but also not knowing what we could possibly be is the scary part in a good way, in a positive way, because we can be a really, really great team. And it's early, but we have a lot of upside to this team, and not just with the quote-unquote big three, but down the line we have some things that we can work with and some things that we want to do and accomplish. So I think for me, just excitement of not knowing the potential of this team, and knowing the potential of this team. That's what gets me going.
Do you feel like this organization and their culture, the way they're built, is setting you up for success? And
yeah. That groundwork is already laid. That foundation is already laid. So for us, it's just about coming and going to work. Being professional about it, enjoying it, having fun, and playing basketball at the end of the day.
Carmelo, you seem to play with so much joy. What's that feel like at the beginning of the game? You kind of rip off 10 straight points like that.
Yeah, it's that field is back, for me, that joy, like you said. Being happy out there on the court again, being excited, being motivated to be out there on the court again. It's back for me. Like that feeling is back for me.
Maybe someone who's been doing this for 15 years, it's just not possible. But are there nerves with a new team?
No. It's the hardest part, the most difficult part is trying to fit in. you know, with the guys. And sometimes you can overdo it. You can try to defend it too much, you know, on the basketball court, trying to get guys, you know, involved, passing up, you know, open shots, and, you know, making the extra pass when you know when you don't have to, and, you know, just trying to, you know, get everybody to feel good about one another. So, but it's no nerves for me. It's basketball. I've been doing it for a long time. It's something that I actually enjoy doing. I love it. And I told you guys in the media day that I will always adjust to.
We played against an explosive three-point shooting team. I think it's a lot to walk away from. You know, here we are, we're playing in the new NBA. Teams are going to stretch the floor and shoot a lot of threes. I thought as a group, though, we found some things that work. We obviously found some things we got to get better and work on. But overall, I thought, you know, the effort was there. A lot of stuff that we've been you know, drilling was there. But, you know, it's what these preseason games for is to evaluate and push forward.
Well, what are you guys trying to get out of it? Obviously, Russell's out. You got a couple of the rotation guys out. What are you trying to learn about yourselves when you obviously don't have your real team?
Well, it's just rhythm. You know, coach is trying to, you know, tie myself, trying to tie Melo in. It's a lot of this other, or besides us two, it's still a lot of, you know, new faces in this group. So that's all it is. It's trying to build on both ends. You know, he's reshaping and forming a new team himself. Meaning coach. So we're all the team in this, and we're trying to figure this out on the fly. You know, once Russ comes back, you know, we'll start to trend towards how we're going to look and how we're going to play. So it's just good for us to get our feet wet and you know, see where we're at.
Terrence, rookie, coming back, playing at home in his first NBA game. How do you think he kind of just handled the moment? And he seemed to play pretty well.
Yeah, man. Terrence is very poised. Remind me a lot of myself as a rookie coming into this league. You know, just don't mind the pressure. It doesn't bother him. You know, he plays hard nosed on both ends. He's very aggressive, attacking, and defensively he's trying to get after guys. So it's a bright future. You know, and the luxury is for myself is to see someone like me and try to help him along the way. So he's got more than three. There's more than enough guys here that can take that job of mentorship. But you know, he's got a lot of guys that he can look up to, and hopefully we can build them up.
When do you feel like you transitioned from kind of taking some lessons and learning from some of the older guys to being the one, like you just said, to be a mentor for somebody else?
I mean, it just happens. You know, it just happens. You know, my rookie year, it was a natural thing, natural instincts for the veterans to, you know, try to help, and we're all brothers here, and our job is to look out for one another, and you know, that's really how we you know, this league has been built, and this league is, you know, so you know, you see a young guy who has all the potential, all the intangibles. He just needs that experience part. And that's what our job is, to you know, speed that process for him.
Oh, it's obviously it's preseason. Your minutes were different. Your rotations were different. But you've only ever worn one uniform in the NBA. I just wonder what it was like to have a different one on and go out and play.
It was amazing. The energy there. It was almost like being a rookie again. You know, stepping in front of a new crowd, new jersey. You know, I had the jitters. I was very excited. It took me a second to kind of let the game slow down and just be in the moment. I thought I was a little outside myself to start this game. But it's what this preseason's for. Get this out of yourself, get it out of your system, and you move forward.
Clearly a fan of the West Coast music. Name your top three West Coast artists.
West Coast artists,
yeah.
Top three. Game for sure, Kendrick, and we'll go Snoop.
Snoop, nice choice.
That was great. I thought we did a fairly decent job of protecting the paint. I thought we had several of the three-point shots. We kind of closed out to contain instead of closing out to run them off the line. A couple of dribble handoffs we got caught going underneath. But the thing that was encouraging, even though they made that many, is the fact that I thought we did a really good job of coming across and helping on penetration. Our closeouts needed to be better in terms of getting the next shooter off the line. At times we closed out short, and other times we did a better job. But you know, for the most part, I thought our effort in terms of what we were trying to do defensively was there. It's just a matter, I think, of executing better.
Bill, you staggered so that Melo was with the second unit for a bit in the first half. What did you see from those lineups? What did you think of that?
Yeah, I just, you know, when you're playing the young guys like Terrence, and, you know, even throwing Jeremy out there, who was playing some at the 5, you know, which was a new position for him, using him at the 5, maybe a little bit more this year. Even bringing in Daniel Hamilton, I just thought that, you know, for the group, having a veteran guy out there in Carmelo, and even Steven in the fourth quarter with Andre, just to have some of those younger guys, have some veteran guys around them would be helpful. So it was just trying to, you know, again, Daniel, Terrence, you know, younger guys, just trying to have some veteran guys around them just to help guide them.
Why Carmelo instead of Paul George? What went into that decision?
Decision for
to stagger with Melo in the second year as opposed to doing the same thing, just reversing.
It was just more of rest because I think Paul played longer, you know, so we ended up going. I think Carmelo came out maybe right around 6, maybe a little less than that. You know, Paul probably went to maybe right around 3. So I just, you know, decided to start Paul in the second quarter and, you know, brought Melo back. Really to almost sub in for Paul as he was coming out.
Billy, any update on Steven?
You know, I just think he kind of, I think I didn't really actually see it because the official was kind of in front of me. But it just looked like he kind of came down awkwardly and kind of twisted his back a little bit. Probably know more tomorrow. I don't believe it's anything too severe or serious, but you know, hopefully he'll be okay. And you know, if there's any time he's got to miss, hopefully it won't be much. But I got nothing been said to me, and I really haven't checked. But I would imagine if it was very serious, someone would say this is what the problem is. So nothing. Hopefully everything's okay.
I know things are going to look like